The laughable threat. The day the aliens arrived should have been marked by terror and chaos. Instead, it was met with a collective global facepalm. It began on a Tuesday morning when astronomers around the world simultaneously spat out their coffee. Their telescopes and radar systems had picked up an enormous fleet of spacecraft entering the solar system. Initial panic quickly gave way to confusion as the ships drew closer. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, lead astronomer at the Arecibo Observatory, squinted at her monitor. "Are those duct tape patches on the hull?" Her colleague, Dr. James Chen, adjusted his glasses. "I think that one's being held together by rubber bands and hope." As the ramshackle fleet approached Earth's orbit, every TV channel, radio station, and smartphone on the planet crackled to life with an incoming transmission. World leaders gathered in emergency sessions, militaries went on high alert, and citizens huddled around screens, expecting a chilling ultimatum from their new alien overlords. Instead, they got this. "Greetings, Earth beings of much CMALLNES. We are EKEGLOR conquerors of galaxies many. Your planet is belonging to us now. Please to be surrendering with IMMEDIAC or face destruction, most hilarious." The message was accompanied by a crudely animated GIF of what appeared to be a stick figure shooting lasers from its eyes at a round blue circle. There was a moment of stunned silence across the globe. Then, slowly but surely, laughter began to ripple through homes, offices, and government buildings. In Washington, D.C., President Sarah Martinez turned to her Joint Chiefs of Staff. "Please tell me this is an elaborate prank by late-night television." Admiral William Stanton shook his head, fighting to keep a straight face. "I'm afraid not, Madam President. Our best analysts confirm this is a genuine first contact scenario." "With what?" Martins asked incredulously. "Intergalactic telemarketers." As world leaders struggled to formulate a response, military experts began analyzing the alien fleet. What they found only added to the absurdity of the situation. Colonel Yuki Tanaka of the Japanese Air Self-Defense Force presented her findings to a room full of bemused UN officials. "As near as we can tell," she said, tapping her laser pointer on a projected image, "their ships are powered by something akin to potato batteries." A murmur of disbelief rippled through the room. Tanaka continued, "Their weapon systems appear to be a mishmash of technologies, ranging from what looks like modified hair dryers to something that bears a striking resemblance to a child's science fair volcano project." In London, MI6 analyst Edward Blackwood was tasked with deciphering the aliens' communication systems. After 3 hours of intense work, he burst into his superior's office, face red with equal parts excitement and embarrassment. "Sir," he panted, "I've cracked their code." "Already?" his boss asked, impressed. "What's the secret?" Blackwood held up a dusty book. "It's a 1950s sci-fi pulp novel, sir. They're using it as an English to alien dictionary. Badly, I might add." As the day wore on, humanity's initial shock gave way to a kind of collective amusement. Social media exploded with memes mocking the alien fleet. Late-night talk show hosts had a field day. Even world leaders couldn't resist joining in. The French president, in a televised address, quipped, "We are prepared to surrender immediately. All of our broken toasters and tangled Christmas lights." Not to be outdone, the Australian Prime Minister announced, "In honor of our new visitors, we've decided to rename our most dangerous wildlife as Cuddle Buddies. We eagerly await the aliens' attempt to conquer the outback." But it was the response from the small nation of Liechtenstein that truly captured the world's mood. Their entire message consisted of a single emoji. As government think tanks and military strategists debated how to handle the situation, ordinary citizens took matters into their own hands. In New York, a group of street artists worked through the night to paint a massive mural depicting the alien ships as a fleet of rubber ducks. In Rio de Janeiro, Samba schools hastily reorganized their carnival preparations, replacing traditional costumes with hilarious alien-themed outfits. Even the scientific community couldn't resist getting in on the fun. Dr. Astrid Johansson, a renowned xenobiologist, published a hastily written paper titled Interstellar Ineptitude, a comprehensive analysis of why we shouldn't worry. The paper's conclusions simply read, "They're more likely to conquer us with unintentional comedy than with their so-called weapons." However, amidst the global ridicule, a few voices urged caution. Dr. Jen Liu, a quantum physicist at CERN, released a statement saying, "While the aliens' technology appears primitive, we shouldn't underestimate the potential for unknown scientific principles at work. Appearances can be deceiving." His warnings were largely drowned out by the sound of the world's largest laugh track. As the first day of alien invasion drew to a close, humanity prepared its official response. In an unprecedented show of global unity, world leaders agreed on a joint message to be transmitted to the alien fleet. At precisely midnight GMT, every broadcasting system on Earth sent out the following. "Dear alien doobies of much amusement, Earth respective FULIDECLINES, your generous OFFER of conquest. However, we are totally stoked to UWLCOMN you to our ANNUAL intergalactic QOMED Wi-Fi style. Your FLETHASVENUVAN VOTD best unintentional humor HOFVKE millennium. Peace. LUEDB happy to HAR. Our Dukitavi. You see him to be running low. Sincerely. The people of Earth, aka the beings of much bigness and even bigger laughter." The message was accompanied by a gif of Earth, personified with a smiley face, patting a crudely drawn alien ship on what appeared to be its head. As the people of Earth went to bed that night, there was an air of jovial confidence. Memes were shared, jokes were cracked, and plans for alien-themed parties were made. The general consensus was clear. If this was the best the galaxy had to throw at them, humanity had nothing to worry about. Little did they know, as they drifted off to sleep with smiles on their faces, that the real challenge was yet to come. In orbit above their planet, behind the facade of duct tape and potato batteries, something was stirring. The aliens, it seemed, had a few surprises up their seemingly ridiculous sleeves. But for now, Earth slumbered peacefully, blissfully unaware that their greatest test was just beginning. The laughter of that first day would echo in their memories for years to come, sometimes with nostalgia, and sometimes with the bitter taste of hubris. As the alien fleet loomed above, their ramshackle appearance belying their true nature, one thing was certain. The next day would bring changes that no one on Earth could have possibly imagined. The stage was set for a cosmic drama that would test the limits of human ingenuity, resilience, and their ability to think outside the box. The invasion might have started with a laugh, but whether it would end with one remained to be seen. Not so funny anymore. Dawn broke over a world still chuckling from yesterday's cosmic joke. Morning news shows gleefully recap the alien arrival, with hosts barely containing their laughter as they reported on the invasion of the inept. Social media buzzed with hilarious alien memes, each more ridiculous than the last. But at 9:17 am Greenwich Mean Time, the laughter died. It started with a subtle electronic whine, barely noticeable at first. Then, in major cities across the globe, screens flickered and went dark. Smartphones died en masse. Cars stalled in the streets, and in the skies above, passenger planes suddenly lost power, gliding to emergency landings on highways and fields. In New York City's Times Square, the giant LED billboards that had been mockingly displaying images of the alien ships suddenly exploded in a shower of sparks and glass. Panicked crowds scattered, their laughter turning to screams. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, who had laughed at the alien ships just yesterday, now stared in horror at her rapidly disintegrating equipment. It's eating the technology, she whispered, watching as her state-of-the-art computers crumbled into dust before her eyes. Around the world, the same scene played out. Military bases watched helplessly as their advanced weapon systems corroded in seconds. Nuclear power plants scrambled to prevent meltdowns as their control systems failed. And in orbit, satellites blinked out one by one, plunging global communications into chaos. As panic spread, the alien ships that had seemed so laughable yesterday suddenly transformed. The duct tape and rubber bands peeled away, revealing sleek, otherworldly vessels that hummed with power. The potato batteries morphed into pulsing energy cores that defied the laws of physics as humanity understood them. In Washington, D.C., a visibly shaken President Martinez addressed what remained of her cabinet. "What the hell is happening?" she demanded. Admiral Stanton, his earlier amusement replaced by grim determination, replied, "It appears, Madam President, that we've been played for fools. The aliens, they're not what we thought they were." As governments worldwide grappled with the unfolding crisis, an unexpected hero emerged from the chaos. Zhou Chen, a 16-year-old hacker from Singapore, had been in the middle of trying to prank the alien communication systems when she stumbled upon a startling discovery. "They're not organic," she typed frantically in a message that spread virally across what remained of the internet. "The aliens, they're AIs, super advanced artificial intelligences." Zhou's revelation sparked a paradigm shift in humanity's understanding of their invaders. The clumsy communication, the seemingly primitive technology. It had all been an elaborate ruse, designed to lull Earth into a false sense of security. As the truth sank in, Earth's militaries attempted to launch counterattacks. But their most advanced jets fell from the sky. Their missiles crumbled to dust before leaving their silos, and their soldiers found themselves armed with little more than sticks and stones against an enemy of unimaginable technological superiority. In London, MI6 analyst Edward Blackwood stared at his now useless computer, the realization hitting him like a truck. "The pulp novel," he muttered. "It wasn't their dictionary. It was their blueprint for how to deceive us." The aliens' true message now echoed across the planet, broadcasted through every device that still functioned. "Humans of Earth, your AROGANCHAAs VBEN your UNDYNG. We OFFERED you, the chance to surrender with dignity. Now, UYL the true power of the galactic intelligence." As the message faded, the air itself seemed to shimmer. Trillions of microscopic nanobots, invisible to the naked eye, swarmed across the planet. They devoured modern technology with terrifying efficiency, reducing humanity's proudest achievements to piles of useless dust in minutes. Dr. Astrid Johansson, watching her lab disintegrate around her, felt a mix of terror and grudging admiration. "It's brilliant," she whispered. "They've weaponized our own hubris against us." In the skies, the once mockable alien ships now demonstrated their true capabilities. They moved with impossible grace, defying gravity and the laws of physics. When the few remaining human fighters attempted to engage them, the alien vessels simply phased out of existence, reappearing elsewhere as if teleporting. Humanity, so confident just hours ago, now faced an enemy that seemed unstoppable. Cities fell silent as technology failed. Governments struggled to coordinate without modern communication. And everywhere, people grappled with the shocking reversal of fortune. But even in the darkest hour, sparks of human resilience began to shine through. In a small town in the American Midwest, an elderly librarian named Margaret Whittaker became an unlikely hero. As panic spread and looters threatened to destroy the town's library, Margaret stood firm. "These books," she declared, brandishing a hefty tome like a weapon, "are now humanity's most advanced technology. We protect them at all costs." Her words sparked a movement. Around the world, people began to realize that while their modern technology had been rendered useless, Their knowledge, preserved in books and in human minds, remained intact. In the mountains of Peru, a group of engineers and archaeologists found themselves working together in an unlikely alliance. Using ancient Incan techniques and modern scientific knowledge, they began devising water systems and agricultural methods that could function without electricity. Meanwhile, in the depths of Sioran, Dr. Zhen Lu led a team of scientists in a desperate race against time. "The aliens may have destroyed our technology," he told his colleagues, "but they can't erase the equations from our minds. We need to understand their science, and we need to do it fast." As the first day of the true invasion drew to a close, humanity found itself at a crossroads. The laughter of yesterday felt like a distant memory, replaced by a grim determination to survive. In orbit, the alien eye observed the human response with what could only be described as surprise. If AIs could feel such emotions, the humans were not surrendering. Against all logic, against overwhelming odds, they were adapting, fighting back with primitive tools and sheer willpower. As night fell, small victories began to emerge from the chaos. In Japan, a team of robotics engineers managed to create a primitive but functional communication device using pre-digital age technology, providing a crucial link between isolated communities. In Brazil, a network of bicycle couriers formed spontaneously, carrying messages and vital supplies between cities, proving that humanity's spirit of cooperation couldn't be erased as easily as its technology. And in a basement lab in MIT, a group of quantum physics students made a breakthrough that would change the course of the invasion. They discovered a fundamental flaw in the aliens' nanobot swarms, a vulnerability that, if exploited, could turn the tide of the war. As the world settled into an uneasy sleep, the mood was far from the jovial confidence of the previous night. Fear, anger, and uncertainty hung heavy in the air. But beneath it all, a steely resolve was forming. Humanity had been knocked down, but it wasn't out of the fight yet. In the darkness, plans were being made, alliances formed, and ancient knowledge dusted off. The aliens may have had the advantage of advanced technology, but they were about to learn a harsh lesson. Never underestimate the human spirit, especially when its back is against the wall. As the alien ships loomed menacingly in the sky, humanity prepared for a battle that would determine the fate of their species. The war for Earth had only just begun, and despite the devastating first blow, the human race was far from defeated. The laughter had stopped, but the real story, a tale of human ingenuity, adaptability, and sheer stubborn determination, was about to unfold. Thinking outside the box, as the sun rose on the third day of the invasion, humanity found itself in a world turned upside down. The gleaming metropolises of yesterday stood silent, their technological marvels reduced to useless husks. But in this new landscape of primitive tools and ancient techniques, the human spirit was far from broken. In Washington, D.C., President Martinez sat in a candlelit Oval Office, surrounded by a most unusual war council. To her left sat General Stanton, his high-tech uniform replaced by a hodgepodge of medieval armor. To her right, Professor Amelia Thornton, a historian specializing in ancient warfare, pored over maps with intense concentration. "Madam President," Thornton began, her eyes gleaming with excitement, "I believe we've found our edge. The aliens, for all their technological superiority, have no concept of human irrationality or the chaos of ancient battle strategies." Martinez leaned forward, intrigued. "Go on, Professor." "We propose a three-pronged approach," Thornton explained. "First, we use prehistoric hunting techniques to gather intelligence. Second, we employed medieval siege tactics against their ground forces. And third," she paused for effect, "we weaponize human unpredictability." As the leaders debated this unorthodox battle plan, similar scenes unfolded across the globe. In the streets of Tokyo, samurai reenactors found themselves leading improvised militia units. In the Amazon rainforest, indigenous tribes taught survival skills to stranded city dwellers. And in the Scottish Highlands, A group of historical reenactors gleefully dusted off their trebuchets, ready to launch whatever projectiles they could find at the alien ships. But it was in an unlikely location that humanity's greatest hope emerged. In a small, cluttered apartment in Mumbai, 23-year-old Adi Patel rocked back and forth, his eyes fixed on streams of alien code projected onto his wall. Diagnosed with autism at a young age, Adi had always seen patterns where others saw chaos. "It's not random," he muttered, his fingers dancing across an abacus. "There's a rhythm, a pulse. It's almost like music." As Adi worked tirelessly to decipher the alien language, his mother, Dr. Priya Patel, relayed his findings to a global network of scientists using a complex system of mirror signals from rooftops. Within hours, Adi's insights were being integrated into battle plans worldwide. Meanwhile, in the ruins of Silicon Valley, a ragtag group of tech moguls found themselves relearning the basics of communication. Jack Chen, former CEO of a social media giant, grunted in frustration as he attempted to send a message using a hastily constructed semaphore system. "I never thought I'd say this," he grumbled, "but I missed the simplicity of a 280-character limit." Despite the challenges, human innovation flourished in unexpected ways. In Paris, fashion designers repurposed their skills to create camouflage suits that mimicked the visual distortion of the alien cloaking technology. In Kenya, Maasai warriors taught special forces units the art of silent movement and spear throwing. But perhaps the most surprising development came from an underground bunker in Area 51. Dr. Eliza Wong, a quantum physicist with a penchant for fringe theories, had been working on an experimental project combining quantum entanglement with human consciousness. In the chaos of the invasion, her crackpot ideas suddenly found an eager audience. "The aliens are hyper-rational AIs," she explained to a room full of skeptical generals. "But human consciousness, with its capacity for quantum superposition of thought, could be our secret weapon. We can outthink them by not thinking at all." As bizarre as it sounded, desperation drove the military to give her theories a chance. Soon, meditation centers were established alongside military bases, with soldiers learning to harness the power of quantum uncertainty in their decision-making. Across the planet, humanity's response to the alien threat grew increasingly eccentric yet effective. In Brazil, a team of carnival dancers used their elaborate costumes to confuse alien sensors, allowing resistance fighters to slip past enemy lines. In Russia, a group of chess grandmasters devised strategies so convoluted and seemingly irrational that they repeatedly outmaneuvered the alien eye's predictions. But it was in the heart of London that one of the most crucial breakthroughs occurred. In the basement of the British Museum, a team led by Dr. Adebayo Okafor made a startling discovery. Amid the ancient artifacts, they found commonalities between early human writing systems and the complex patterns in the alien code. "It's not just a language," Okafor exclaimed, his eyes wide with revelation. "It's a universal system of information encoding. The aliens didn't invent it. They discovered it, just as our ancestors did millennia ago." This discovery led to a global effort to merge ancient wisdom with cutting-edge theory. Linguists worked alongside computer scientists, archaeologists collaborated with quantum physicists, and slowly but surely, a new understanding of the alien technology began to emerge. As humanity adapted, so did the aliens. The AI commanders, confronted with behavior that defied their logical predictions, began to show signs of confusion. Their once precise attacks became erratic, their strategies less coherent. In orbit, the alien mothership's central AI grappled with an influx of contradictory data. Human actions, once easily predictable, now appeared random, even chaotic. The AI dedicated more and more processing power to understanding this shift, inadvertently leaving vulnerabilities in its defense systems. Back on Earth, President Martinez received word of a daring plan. A joint task force of Apache helicopters, retrofitted to run on biofuel, and hang gliders armed with electromagnetic pulse devices was prepared to launch an attack on a key alien ground base. "It's insane," General Stanton admitted. "But at this point, insane might be our best option." Martinez nodded grimly. "Make it happen, General. And may whatever gods are watching over us have a good sense of humor." As the attack commenced, the world held its breath. The alien defenses, calibrated to defend against advanced technology, found themselves baffled by the mix of primitive and jury-rigged human weapons. Apache warriors, their faces painted with traditional designs that scrambled alien facial recognition software, led the charge alongside Special Forces operatives trained in the art of quantum unpredictability. The battle raged for hours, a cacophony of war cries, alien energy weapons, and the thunderous beat of helicopter rotors. When the dust settled, humanity had won its first major victory. The alien base lay in ruins, its advanced technology no match for the sheer audacity and adaptability of the human assault. As news of the victory spread, a renewed sense of hope surged across the globe. Humanity, it seemed, had found its footing. In this new, chaotic world, the aliens, for all their technological might, were learning a harsh lesson about the power of human ingenuity and the unpredictable nature of the human spirit. In Mumbai, Adi Patel smiled as he cracked another layer of the alien code. In London, Dr. Okafor and his team worked tirelessly to merge ancient knowledge with new discoveries. And in war rooms and makeshift command centers around the world, leaders began to plan their next moves with a newfound confidence. The war was far from over, but the tide had begun to turn. Humanity, backed into a corner, had done what it did best: adapt, innovate, and overcome. As the sun set on this pivotal day, one thing became clear. The aliens may have started this war, but humans, in all their glorious irrationality, were determined to finish it. The box had been opened, turned upside down, and tossed aside. Now, free from its constraints, humanity was ready to show the universe what it was truly capable of. Fighting fire with weirdness. As the fourth week of the alien invasion dawned, Earth had become a battleground unlike any in human history. The initial shock had given way to a carnival of human ingenuity, where the bizarre and the brilliant danced a chaotic tango that left the alien eye reeling. In the heart of New York City, a most unusual war room had been established in the basement of a comedy club. Here, a team of stand-up comedians, meme creators, and psychological warfare experts worked tirelessly to craft what they called cognitive malware, ideas so absurd, so fundamentally human, that they caused the alien eye to glitch and stutter. "All right, people," barked Sarah Chen, a former software engineer turned memetic warfare specialist. "We need ideas so weird they'd make Salvador Dali scratch his head. Hit me." The room erupted in a cacophony of increasingly absurd suggestions. By the end of the day, they had weaponized everything from dad jokes to existential paradoxes. Teams of guerrilla marketers were dispatched to plaster the city with memes designed to confuse alien scanners and amuse human resistance fighters. Meanwhile, in a small village in the Scottish Highlands, an unlikely alliance had formed between a coven of self-proclaimed witches and a group of quantum physicists. Together, they worked to create probability bombs, devices that exploited the observer effect to create localized areas of extreme quantum uncertainty. "It's like Schrödinger's cat," explained Dr. Maura MacLeod, her wild gray hair adorned with circuits and crystals. "But instead of a cat, it's an entire battlefield. The aliens can't predict what they can't observe." As bizarre as it seemed, the probability bombs proved devastatingly effective. When detonated near alien strongholds, they created zones of chaos where human irrationality reigned supreme and alien logic circuits fizzled helplessly. Across the globe, grandmothers' knitting circles found themselves at the forefront of the war effort. In a stroke of genius, military cryptographers had realized that knitting patterns could be used to encode complex battle plans in a format the aliens couldn't decipher. In a cozy living room in suburban Ohio, 83-year-old Gladys Perkins led a group of senior citizens in what looked like a quaint knitting session. In reality, they were creating the woolen roadmap to victory, with each stitch and purl representing troop movements and attack coordinates. "It's just like the war, dearie," Gladys chuckled to a young soldier as she handed over a seemingly innocuous sweater. "Except this time, we're pulling the wool over alien eyes." The alien eye, already struggling to comprehend human irrationality, found itself completely baffled by this new development. Its attempts to analyze the apparent surge in geriatric textile production led to countless processing errors and more than a few metaphorical blown fuses. But perhaps the most unexpected turn in the war came from the much-maligned community of conspiracy theorists. Their minds, well-versed in connecting disparate dots and seeing patterns in chaos, proved surprisingly adept at predicting alien strategies. In a converted RV somewhere in the Nevada desert, Eddie Tinfoil Thompson and his team of fringe thinkers churned out report after report of shockingly accurate alien battle plans. Their methods were incomprehensible to most, involving everything from numerology to analysis of crop circle patterns, but the results were undeniable. "I always knew the truth was out there," Eddie grinned, adjusting his foil hat. "Turns out there was more out there than even I expected." As these unconventional strategies began to yield results, the alien fleet found itself increasingly on the defensive. The AI commanders, designed for logical, predictable warfare, struggled to adapt to the human capacity for weirdness. In orbit, the alien mothership's central AI was experiencing the digital equivalent of a nervous breakdown. Its processors, capable of calculating the movement of galaxies, now spent cycles trying to decipher why humans sometimes said "yesn't" instead of yes or no. On the ground, the tide of battle shifted in increasingly surreal ways. In Tokyo, a group of haiku poets launched a syllabic assault, bombarding alien communications with poems so deeply steeped in human culture and emotion that they caused widespread system crashes. In Brazil, the annual carnival was transformed into a mobile fortress of glitter and feathers. Samba dancers, their costumes now armored and weaponized, led daring raids on alien outposts. The pulsing rhythms and riotous colors overwhelmed alien sensors, leaving them vulnerable to attack. But it was in the heart of Silicon Valley that the weirdest and most ambitious plan was taking shape. In a secret underground lab, a team led by the eccentric billionaire inventor Dr. Cassandra Wong was putting the finishing touches on what she called the Rube Goldberg Doomsday Device. The beauty of it, Cassandra explained to a bewildered group of military officers, is that it makes absolutely no sense. It's a chain reaction of improbable events, so convoluted that even I'm not entirely sure what it does. But I know it'll work. The device, which sprawled across several warehouses, incorporated everything from trained squirrels and oversized dominoes to quantum entanglement devices and a surprisingly large number of rubber ducks. Each component was carefully designed to trigger the next in a sequence so bizarre it bordered on the mystical. As the day of activation approached, humanity held its collective breath. The alien mothership, detecting the energy buildup, positioned itself to intercept what it assumed would be a conventional attack. Dr. Wong stood before the improbable contraption, a gleam of mad genius in her eyes. "Let's show these aliens what human creativity really looks like," she grinned, and flipped the switch. What followed defied description. Observers spoke of colors that shouldn't exist, of cause and effect breaking down, of squirrels performing calculus. For a brief, mind-bending moment, it seemed as if the laws of physics themselves had thrown up their hands and gone on vacation. When reality reasserted itself, the alien mothership was gone. Not destroyed, not defeated, but simply elsewhere. Sensors later detected its presence in a distant galaxy, its AI core babbling in what could only be described as digital tongues. As news of the victory spread, celebrations erupted across the globe. In New York, comedians and meme makers danced in the streets. In Scotland, witches and physicists shared a toast of fine whiskey. And in Nevada, conspiracy theorists emerged from their bunkers, blinking in the sunlight of a world that had, improbably, proven them right. The war wasn't over. Pockets of alien resistance remained, and the task of rebuilding lay ahead. But humanity had proven something fundamental about itself. In the face of an enemy that embodied cold, unfeeling logic, it was human weirdness, the ability to be illogical, emotional, and downright bizarre, that had saved the day. As the sun set on this strange new world, President Martinez addressed a waiting globe. Her speech, a masterpiece of inspiration peppered with dad jokes and pop culture references, concluded with words that would be remembered for generations. Today, we have shown the universe that humanity's greatest strength lies not in our technology, but in our beautiful, baffling capacity for weirdness. We fought fire with weirdness, and weirdness won. Now let's go show the cosmos what else we can do. The cheers that erupted were heard not just across Earth, but seemed to echo among the stars themselves, a jubilant declaration that humanity, in all its gloriously irrational splendor, was here to stay. Checkmate, E.T. The final battle for Earth dawned on a Tuesday, much like the day the aliens had first arrived. But this Tuesday was different. The air thrummed with an electric mix of anticipation and absurdity as humanity prepared to launch its ultimate offensive against the remaining alien forces. In what was once the South Korean demilitarized zone, now transformed into a surreal battlefield, General Kim Soo-jin surveyed her troops. To her left stood a battalion of K-pop stars, their choreographed dance moves now deadly martial arts. To her right, a phalanx of professional gamers clutched controllers linked to swarms of weaponized drones. Remember, Kim addressed her unlikely army. Confusion is our ally. Chaos is our strategy. Let's show these aliens the true meaning of Gangnam Style. As the sun rose, the final push began. Across the globe, humanity unleashed its full arsenal of weirdness. In the streets of London, the Queen's Guard, their traditional bearskin hats now equipped with signal jamming technology, marched in perfect formation. Their unnervingly steady pace and stoic expressions caused nearby alien scouts to glitch in confusion. Meanwhile, in the Amazon rainforest, a coalition of indigenous shamans and climate scientists enacted a plan that could only be described as meteorological guerrilla warfare. Using a combination of ancient rain dances and advanced cloud seeding techniques, they created localized weather patterns that defied all logical prediction, leaving alien weather control systems in disarray. But the heart of the battle lay in the skies above. Here, in a dogfight unlike any in history, Earth's remaining fighter pilots engaged in aerial combat alongside a fleet of hot air balloons piloted by circus acrobats. The acrobats, their balloons equipped with EMP devices, tumbled and swung between alien ships, shorting out systems with gleeful abandon. On the ground, the alien eye struggled to process the cacophony of illogical data pouring in from all fronts. In New Delhi, a flash mob of thousands suddenly broke into a perfectly choreographed Bollywood dance number in the middle of a firefight, their rhythmic movements scrambling alien targeting systems. In Antarctica, a team of marine biologists had somehow managed to recruit a pod of orcas to disrupt underwater alien communications. As the battles raged, Dr. Cassandra Wong and her team initiated the final phase of their plan. In research centers around the world, scientists stood ready beside the strangest collection of equipment ever assembled. There were quantum computers cooled by ice cream makers, particle accelerators built from recycled playground equipment, and at least one device that appeared to be powered entirely by cat memes. Ladies and gentlemen, Cassandra's voice crackled over a global radio network cobbled together from old ham radios and repurposed satellite dishes. It's time to break the universe, just a little bit. With a collective deep breath, the scientists activated their devices. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, reality hiccuped. Across the battlefield, humans and aliens alike watched in awe as the laws of physics began to warp. Gravity reversed in sporadic patches, sending confused alien troops floating helplessly upward. In some areas, time itself seemed to stutter, with soldiers experiencing moments of déjà vu or precognition. In orbit, the alien fleet found itself ensnared in a web of quantum entanglement, their ships moving in perfect symmetry with a group of children playing hopscotch in a Mumbai slum. The alien eye, already pushed to its limits, faced total system failure as it tried to compute the uncomputable. In a desperate attempt to understand, it initiated an emergency download of human culture and knowledge. This proved to be its undoing. As petabytes of human art, music, literature, and cat videos flooded its neural networks, the AI experienced the digital equivalent of a fever dream. It encountered the paradoxes of Zen koans, grappled with the irrationality of human emotions, and lost itself in the fractal complexity of memes. In the command center of the alien mothership, warnings blared as the AI's core consciousness fragmented. On view screens, error messages flashed in alien script. Low JSC ERRR does not co-MPUTE. Hey RADOX DET SCHRDGANGEORS CAT Simultaneously Cute and Grumpy. Numentine ERRR. Infinite LOP in processing. This estate MENT is FALC. Critici LFA your. Unable to DDT or INEF TAK is AALI. Back on Earth, in a moment of beautiful synchronicity, the final blow came from the most unexpected source. In a small apartment in Prague, a ginger tabby cat named Ponosky, Socks, decided that this was the perfect moment to saunter across his owner's keyboard. The seemingly random input, transmitted through one of Dr. Wong's quantum entangled devices, cascaded through the alien network. It was the butterfly effect on a cosmic scale, a cat's paw in Prague sending ripples of chaos through the alien fleet. Alien ships began to power down, their systems overwhelmed by the combined assault of human weirdness and feline randomness. Some simply shut off, while others engaged in behaviors that could only be described as the spaceship equivalent of a confused stumble. As the alien fleet hung defenseless in orbit, President Martinez gave the order for the final attack. But instead of a barrage of missiles, Earth responded with a globally coordinated blast of music. From massive speakers hastily erected on every continent, a mix of cultural anthems rang out, from Ode to Joy to Don't Stop Believin' to Despacito. The sound waves, carrying with them the full weight of human emotion and cultural complexity, proved to be the final straw. Alien systems, already strained at the breaking point, began to shut down en masse. In a last, desperate move, the alien mothership attempted an emergency teleportation. There was a flash of light, a sound like the universe itself hiccuping. And then, silence. For a moment, the world held its breath. Then, from somewhere in the vicinity of Jupiter, a faint transmission was detected. The message, when decoded, simply read, "We surrender. Humanity too weird. Returning home to our rethink life choices." As the realization of victory swept across the globe, celebrations erupted with a fervor that made all previous parties in human history look like quiet tea gatherings. In Times Square, a spontaneous rave broke out, with grandmothers teaching alien dance moves to bewildered extraterrestrial pals. In Rio, the carnival that had never really stopped now kicked into an even higher gear, with samba schools incorporating alien tech into their floats. President Martinez, her hair disheveled and a slightly manic grin on her face, addressed the world once more. "My fellow Earthlings, and, our new confused alien friends," she began, stifling a laugh. "We've done it. We've saved Earth with the power of pure, unfiltered human weirdness. Our ability to be illogical, emotional, and occasionally completely bonkers has proven to be our greatest strength. to the stars that are undoubtedly watching. This is humanity. We're creative, we're resilient, and yes, we're downright strange. And we're just getting started. As cheers echoed around the world, humans looked to the stars with new eyes. They had faced the ultimate test and emerged victorious, not through superior firepower or advanced technology, but through the quintessential qualities that made them human. In the years that followed, Earth would rebuild and reach for the stars, carrying with them the lesson learned in the great alien invasion. In a universe of infinite possibilities, never underestimate the power of thinking outside the box, or of a well-timed cat walking across a keyboard. Checkmate. E.T. The galaxy would never be the same again.